Watch the losers sweating caught on the worst.
Welcome back to another episode of the Chillcast. We're your hosts, Joey Rucker.
And Brent Murphy.
And today is going to be a bit of a different vibe. For
Maybe even a downer.
Maybe even a downer, chat. It's a bit of an odd day, and you know, I've done my best to keep us involved on the main show as far as updates on news and everything, and keep you all up to date. And today, it's kind of a change because we were going to come in today and give you a specific chill topic, but
especially
we have
on sports.
Yeah,
it's gonna be a fun topic.
It's gonna be a little different, but now we're changing it because we sort of have breaking news that kind of has to be discussed, and so we're gonna pretty much fill you guys in, let you know what's going on. If we don't laugh a lot today, sorry. We'll do our best to keep up our cheery demeanor, but
we'll try next time.
It's actually kind of good, if you ask me, that this was a Chillcast, because this would be a real bummer to just watch our faces on screen.
Yeah.
But that said, this situation has a lot to do with Brent's life, and it does affect the woodsman persona that we have put together. But because it's happening to Brent and it sort of revolves around him a bit more, I'm going to let him discuss kind of what's going on, how this started, and then we'll get into it.
I promise I'm not dying, for anyone
No.
It does sound like it does sound like I have some crippling disease that
no one's dying, no one's sick. It's just a bit of a different kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, for any of chat that knows, I'm a man of many hats. I'm a man who juggles many different things. I'm a man who juggles many different jobs, odd jobs. But it's not really an odd job because I've been doing it, like, I guess my whole life.
Mm-hmm.
But, so, you know, me and Joey are very open with our faith, our beliefs, our values, as chat knows.
Mm-hmm.
We are Christian, which means, I go to church. I'm a worship leader. So that's kind of like where I'm coming from. But, as of today, I am no longer that. Now, for anyone who probably doesn't know, if you're not in church, you wouldn't know. But
that's why we're here to tell you.
Yeah, that's what we're gonna get into today.
Yeah.
But the reason why this is like a bummer topic that we have to talk about on the podcast specifically is that our studio is located at my church. And as of today,
which I don't think we've mentioned before, we never really disclose exactly where we record.
Yeah.
We just said we got a new place.
Yeah, we never try to give a lot of info because I don't know. You guys could come over and serial kill me. I don't know.
We were protecting our hind ends.
Yeah. But now, since we no longer are at this location, it really doesn't matter too much. So it came as a shock, not just to Joey, but to me, clearly, because as we are recording, it is Sunday, May 5th. So Sundays, church days for me, at least. After church, I was told that I will no longer be a worship leader here, and that my part-time position is now getting filled with a full-time position for someone who does not go to our church.
And to be clear, Brent didn't lose this position for any thing he did necessarily. Like, he didn't. Brent didn't do something bad and then he got kicked out of church.
I did not fill out paperwork.
Yeah, it wasn't like anything diabolical. Brent didn't do something so sinful that the church was be gone. But,
and that's why it came as such a surprise.
Yeah, because you've been a real backbone for this church. Like, genuinely, you have. For how long now? How long have you attended this current location?
2018.
2018. So before the pandemic.
Yep.
That's kind of really, wow, that's back when we graduated high school. That's how crazy this is.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so it's a real big shock that this is happening now and so suddenly. And I'm sure you have a lot of, feelings and opinions and.
Yeah. I mean, we've talked about religion a lot, and we've talked about we've talked about, quite frankly, a lot of things that the common church would not agree with, I would assume.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we're very open with belief. We're very open with people. We're very open with difference of opinions. I don't think we've ever once sat down and thought because either I had a different opinion or you did that we let that fuel what we do.
Yeah.
I would say, not to gas us up or anything, but we're pretty like-minded and open individuals.
Yeah, we've always said, especially on air, how you are totally in your right to believe what you believe,
Yeah.
and everyone has a different upbringing. And yes, it's a hard topic sometimes because it's very well known in the Christian faith that we're supposed to evangelize and bring people to our faith and things like that. But me and Brent have taken that idea and sort of believed that it's not about like shoving our religion down your throat. It's
Yeah.
more just like, telling you what we believe and telling you the word, but it's not an obligation for you to join,
Yeah, and I think that is something we have always. Well, I wouldn't even say always. I think growing up in the church, that was shoved down our throats.
Yeah.
I mean, it was, you evangelize, you tell people about the word of God, and if you don't, then you're not doing your part.
Yeah.
That's literally what has been told to us pretty much our whole lives. Correct me if I'm wrong on your
No,
side, but
that not telling people about it was almost
worse than
worse
anything
than
else,
yeah.
And at least growing up, and I'm saying growing up like just this last year. I mean,
Mhm.
just stepping out and growing up and being 24 years old and realizing that maybe we don't have all the information to be telling people that they're wrong.
Mhm.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
Because the whole point of any I would say any organized religion, which is what a lot of people have made Christianity.
Mhm.
Christianity was never meant to be a religion for anybody who is not involved in the Christian church. Everything you're hearing from other churches and stuff telling you it is a religion, I'm sorry, because that was never what it was intended to be. And that's part of the reason why something as big as me being asked to leave the church has hit me very hard and very personal, because I have tried to be the exact opposite of that hypocritical person that I currently see
Mhm.
in our current church.
Yeah.
Just, the church in general as a whole,
We talked a lot growing up, like you said, just in the last couple of years, how one of the main issues I had was that the church sort of as a group, but not necessarily the
As an
people.
organized
Yeah,
religious type
it
of
had
like
what's the word I use? I can't think of the word. It has I'm sorry, I can't think of the word now, but it basically has all these things that it does through every church. There's a certain word, but
like a formula.
formula.
There's
Thank
a
you. Yes, there
formula.
is a
Yes.
formula that the church follows,
A
and
template, as you would.
not every church does it. I'm not trying to like put that out as my complete opinion, but there are a
But-
lot
but
of
majority
there's
do.
a lot of similarities within different churches, even based on different denominations too. But a lot of them follow this formula, which initially sparked something in me personally, where I thought that it was a bit hypocritical and it didn't really seem like you were really telling them the message. You were more trying to
Get
earn,
your opinion across
Yeah.
of what you believe about that.
which
Yeah.
that's what Brent was striving to like not do. I genuinely believe, just based on what the stories I've heard and being with you all these years, that I genuinely think you've tried to push that stereotype aside and
Yeah.
do different.
To call yourself a Christ follower, right? And again, a lot of people probably aren't going to relate to this episode. They're going to
No.
hear all this, or like, this doesn't make any sense to me. It doesn't apply to me. But for the small amount of people that it does apply to be a Christ follower and then make someone feel bad about doing something wrong, when every single person in this universe does something wrong,
Yeah.
you are part of the problem.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sorry, I hate to be that guy. I hate to get very, like, I guess, religious, but like Jesus never came down here once and made someone who is gay feel bad about being gay. He never once came down and made someone who was poor feel bad about being poor.
Yeah.
He never once came down and made anybody that he came to and helped and was there for. He never came and told them they were wrong.
He walked with the dirty. He walked with the sick.
Yes.
The whole point of Jesus' ministry was that he was open and trying to save everyone. And that doesn't mean that there's not these rules and things in religion, but they have taken the wide majority of Christian values has been so flawed lately in the 21st century to...
Well, the Bible has been fit to almost just replicate the all-American dream, right?
Yeah.
You know, you go to school, then you go to college, then you get married, then you have kids, then you get a home, then you do this, then you do that. Like, we have set it up to take specific things or specific verses or chapters and like, let's take all of the context out of the window. And because it said this, a man wrote this, because I'm sorry, I know people don't like to hear it, but the Bible was written by men. Mm-hmm. The Bible was not written by God. God did not physically sit there and write those words and say, write those words. That's not what happened.
Yeah.
It was men writing what they, have come to believe. And I'm not saying because of that, the Bible is like completely void of anything.
No.
That's not it. But be honest with yourself and tell yourself, like, that is what it is. Men have left things out of the Bible.
Things have been taken out of the Bible.
Things have been physically taken out of the Bible. You can look it up. It is not a secret.
There's many examples.
Up things. I mean, we've talked about the book of Enoch multiple times, maybe not on the podcast, but just us in our personal lives.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. The Roman Catholic Church took that out because they didn't want to deal with what was in it. I mean, to look it up, that's what it says. So, when you have things like that happening and you're basing your whole existence off of this book, how are you going to not critically think and think maybe, just maybe, there could be a human motivation for certain things said?
Yeah.
And I feel like that's a fair assessment. I feel like no one should be considered wrong for thinking that, but you say something like that in the church and you're an outcast. Yeah. You're done. Like, you are not, don't associate with them. Mm-hmm. They're not on the same track as us, quote unquote.
And I think that idea that you can't really deny any of this about the Bible, at least the claims that I hope are becoming clearer that we're making, that's kind of the reason why we went down this path of being more open to people and their beliefs. It's that, yes, we believe in Christianity and our faith is strong in the Word of God, but we're not blind to the fact that, there are
things said that are very out of context to now.
Yeah.
And we're okay with admitting that.
Yeah.
There are a lot of things. I mean, white supremacist groups also bring up the Bible verses where they talk about owning slaves and everything and trying to say that's a good thing. Mm-hmm. That's still not a good thing. Yeah. Like, just because it's in the Bible or not in the Bible doesn't mean that does or does not exist.
Yeah.
And I think so many people would like to play the situation of, oh, well, whatever's in the Bible, that's it, that's true, that's word, you should be following it exactly the way it's said. Well, if that's the case, then there's a lot of out-of-pocket stuff that we need to start doing, And
as much as we say that, like, we always speak about religion with a grain of salt because we don't want to disrespect other religions and other beliefs, it goes the same way with this belief itself. There are definitely some very strong Christian followers who would hear what we're saying and absolutely hate
honestly,
us for what we're saying.
They would say is right. I'm sorry, I'm name dropping. We might need to bleep that out. But those are the same people who would say that he is right in me not being here anymore. Mm-hmm. Those are the people... the people who are asking questions are the ones that get persecuted the most. And they're not even asking questions that are against anything.
I do want to be fair just because, that's who I am. and say, I don't think that uh, this person ever told you you had to like leave the church.
Yeah.
I just want to make
yeah,
that statement
let's
clear.
get that, yeah.
But
It was strongly...
with what he's asking you to step down from, it's practically taking away your specific involvement with the church, which is like why it seems. I just wanted.
Well, that's why it seems very personal, because it is very personal.
Yeah,
it is a personal thing, and I don't know. I don't know. It's a very interesting...
it's a hard situation, man. You were here before the people who asked you to leave even started attending this church.
Well, I mean, let's just call it how it is. The pastor is asking me to step down.
Yeah.
So it's not people, it's the pastor.
But pastor or not, you were here.
The pastor, who has only been here 2 years, and I have been here since 2018.
Yeah.
Is asking me to leave my church. Technically not his church, my church.
Mm-hmm.
Which is why, again, it's why we're a little salty in how we're talking right now.
Yeah.
Because it is a salty topic, to be honest. I mean...
No, it's a harsh topic, and that's why we had to preface that this is going to be a different kind of episode. And I'm trying my best to like keep us respectful as best we can, just out of respect. But at the same time, it doesn't... Respect only goes a far enough way when it comes to this idea that you had no talk, you had no discussion that this could be a possibility. This was slammed in your face as of today. Like, basically,
to, I guess, not go into a lot of detail, I was given paperwork for this part-time position. Let me be clear, this part-time position.
Yes.
Even though I've already been here and been doing all of the work that this part-time job is going to pay me for free since 2018.
Yeah.
So... they gave me this paperwork and they said to just fill it out. I have 2 other part-time jobs and I go to school on top of then doing even more stuff for the church for free at this point, because I still wouldn't have turned anything in, right? To then, I guess, there being a deadline on when I could turn this stuff in that no one told me about. But
your relationship with this person, you guys, I would imagine, talked as though like almost like you guys were just chill buddies, in the sense of
he's my friend.
In the sense of there was no real reason to give you a deadline, because you guys were chill and stuff like that.
Like, we had agreed on the start date of my position, and then it was going to be 6 months of the start date. And then we were going to come back, reevaluate where we were at, and then see if I wanted to go full time or if that was a possibility, all that kind of stuff. That was the original plan. Again, this is not like I said okay to this position and then didn't do the work.
Yeah.
This
like
was
you said, you still have been
the position I've already been doing.
Yeah.
And had been given more work and then still not getting paid for it.
Yeah.
And by the way, chat, I've been officially working this since February. I have not gotten a single check, and it is May. So let's also put that out there.
Another reason why this just feels very personal and
it feels like a very attacking type of thing.
Yeah.
Especially to then hire someone full-time, my position.
That was the other thing.
Who also does not go to this church.
The reason they're asking Brent to leave is because since things didn't get done and they didn't get Brent signed on as fast as they hoped to, they're hiring a person for a full-time position immediately, rather than the plan that they had for you, which was to stick it out a little bit in part-time, see if you liked it, and then wanted to go full-time. They're jumping a step for this other person that doesn't even attend your church, which I'm not denying that whoever this guy or girl is has the capabilities of doing the job.
Here's the thing too. No matter what happens when she gets signed on, she'll automatically look like she's doing more than me because she's getting a full-time position and is doing nothing else but being here.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not like she's going to school for 9 hours and then being asked to then come back to the church to do stuff on top of that, or to be asked to do I don't know. I mean, I could go down a whole spiral of how like not okay this whole situation is, but
I guess
it
then,
just
so that you don't get too petty.
yeah.
What do you see from here going on? Not necessarily for Woodsman yet, but
Yeah.
for you.
Well, I've fought very hard to change the stereotypes that have been put on the church or been put on Christians. And it didn't work. If I'm being honest, I spent all my time and energy trying to take away a culture of, hey, we're only being nice to you so you can do stuff for free. That is the culture I'm trying to get rid of. I'm trying to get rid of the culture of, well, if you're a little different, we're going to treat you different.
Yeah.
But we're going to say we love you to your face.
Yeah, you want.
But we are going to act different with you. That is what I'm trying to change. I'm trying to change a bent-ass culture that we have had for however long we've really been here in the States, to be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it. It's just so interesting to me how you could fight so hard to change something, and then those same people that you have done so much for do what they have now done. So going forward, to answer your question, because I promise I didn't.
Sure, no.
Promise I didn't forget about it. I'm just going to say that the people on the outside are right. Quite frankly. I mean, I've been in church my whole life. All I have seen from the church is what happened to me now. And quite frankly, I'm kind of tired of trying to stick up for the church, to be honest. I'm done, with that.
I hear what you're saying, and you know more than chat does that I have gone through my own struggles with the church and Christianity for, I would say, a little while longer than you, but we both for the most part grew up with the same struggles. But I've had my problems with the church, the organization itself, for a while now. And so I totally understand where you're coming from. And as your friend, I want to tell you that, don't give up on it. Cause I tell myself the same thing. Don't give up on it completely. Yeah. At least not completely, even if that means whatever it means.
Yeah. I mean, I'll still go to events, or I'll still first of all, music has been my life forever, and I don't need to be a church to just play worship music, because that's, again, something that the church has gotten wrong. Worship is not music. Worship is the way you live.
Yeah.
To give thanks to the one who has given you everything. I mean, that's all it is, and should I really, if I'm saying that's the context of worship, should I really be as upset as I am about this position and this whole thing happening? Probably not.
It's an old classic saying in Christianity is that the church is not the place, it's the people.
Yeah.
And I'm not perfect about engaging myself with the people so that I don't have to go to the place. I'm not perfect at it. It's one of my bad habits, but none of what we're saying here today on the podcast is trying to say that, oh, screw Christianity or we're done with it. We still wholeheartedly believe in this message. And again, just to be clear, you don't have to. You can believe what you want. But that said,
well, here's the thing too. Even just with that notion right there, I don't think Jesus cared as much about how, I don't know. Jesus' message has always been the same. Always. It was just loving people, caring about people, doing things to people or for people that you would want done or for you,
Yeah.
And, he always said, a lot of Christians, and I don't know if you've, picked up on it, but a lot of, that determining thing on, all right, the salvation moment, trying to get people to raise their hands, come up to the front and everything. is always like, oh, no one comes to the Father but through me, that whole verse. Doesn't it make more sense that the but through me part is the but through me of the actions of Jesus?
Yeah.
Is it really so physical as much as it is like, hey, how about you stop murdering yourselves? How about you stop killing people over a loaf of bread? How about you stop, it's stuff like that where it's like that message hits so much more than anything else anyone could say about the entire Bible. Like, there is no, we serve an almighty creator who does some crazy things. Like mine kid, like sending 2 bears to maul 42
flooding
kids.
The world.
Yeah.
Turning people into salt.
And here's the thing about that too. A lot of people say, hey, well, God said this is what was going to happen. None of these people listen, this is what happened. Is it really so hard or far-fetched to believe that maybe these things were already going to happen regardless, like a natural or global event? And maybe men or maybe like just people in general were like, hey, God did that. Like God wiped us out. And I mean, yeah, he did. But I mean, did he like consciously do it as like how we think?
And the thing is,
God was mad at us.
We'll never know like the for sure answer. And but that's what religion is.
And that's what makes like life so fun, bro. Like, I hate to live in a world where you can believe in Big Sky Daddy, but you can't believe in aliens.
Big Sky Daddy. Sorry.
I'm sorry.
No, you caught me off guard with that one. That was good.
No, but I mean, like, think of how odd that is. Like, just in general, just in general, it doesn't make a lot of sense to, I guess, discredit anything that you don't understand, because quite frankly, no one understands what is beyond this life we have now. No one can comprehend that. I mean, how many scientists forever have been trying to figure out, like, well, is time real?
Yeah.
I mean, like, just something as simple as that. We use that every single second of the day. So there we go. Second of the day. We created that.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean it's real.
Our understanding of it.
Yeah. We have given ourselves the comprehension to understand something as significant as that. But part of life is just being like a kid, like the Bible says. Ask a lot of questions. Just because you ask questions doesn't mean you're doubting anything.
No.
Asking questions,
and that's what the church gets wrong a lot, is when people have these different beliefs or different ideas and they want to know why they can't think that way or why it's looked down upon. Instead of telling that person why, it's more like that they're cast out because they already think that way.
Exactly.
And it's
instead
just
of saying, like, honestly,
space.
That's interesting. Like, instead of just humoring people and be like, well, why do you believe that?
We've said so many times on this podcast that, like, our main message, one is to talk about stuff and learn, but the main thing we keep going back to is love, not hate. And that goes towards the church too. It goes towards the fact that, like, churches can be so ruthless and so mean to those who think or believe differently than them. And as sucky as that is, it's like, well, they need to know the message that we're trying to spread too, is that, like, you gotta love, not hate. And there's no reason.
It's not about how many people you yourself are gonna get into heaven. I'm sorry. I know that is a message that has been wholeheartedly taught in the church, the Great Commission, go and make disciples of all nations, all this stuff. I get it. And is it a bad thing? No, but it's how you execute it. Should we be out here murdering people who say no to our religion? No, that is not how it's supposed to work. Should we be outcasting people who are different from us in general, but we're brave enough to walk in a church?
Yeah.
Knowing that they're different? Like, that takes way more courage than anybody walking into the church that's a regular.
Yeah, absolutely.
Imagine being someone who has been told their whole lives, because you are this, you're not loved by our creator. And I know we always bring out, oh, well, God loves everyone. Well, you sure make it seem like you don't.
Yeah.
people make it seem like God does not love gay people. People make it seem like God does not love any other race that isn't this specific race or whatever. You know, like we as people, as humans, have drilled that in when that is simply a not true statement.
Yeah.
You know, we serve, and again, if everybody is serving a God that is the creator of everything, of the universe, and the whole universal message is loving everybody, doesn't that all sound like just the same person? You know, just different ways of describing the same person.
Yeah.
You know, maybe there are certain things that people don't agree with in the Bible. Same as us. I mean, it's the same thing, you know, just because we don't agree with, well, there's a whole slavery section in the Bible and how you treat your slaves and everything. We don't believe in any of that. But if you say you don't really buy the whole Jesus raising from the dead thing, you're not a Christian.
Yeah.
So, like, where's the pick and choose part of the quote unquote relationship?
And honestly, that's
of
a
the church,
lot of the
you know?
reason why we don't talk a lot about religion on here is just because
it gets muddy. There are a lot of things, and it's hard because you can't really say anything without people getting mad or offended over it.
Yeah.
When I'm telling you right now, chat, I don't know what the answer is.
Yeah.
A part of any religion is faith. Part of any belief system is faith. You have faith that maybe this is real. I believe it enough to believe it's real, and that's okay. We don't have to have the answers. None of us have the answers, and we probably will never get the answers until we find out what is on the other side of this level of existence. You know, we just don't know. We don't know what it is. We don't know what physical heaven is. We don't know what a physical hell is, if there really even is a physical hell. Or is that something that we have made to scare people into believing in what we believe in? You know, there are just so many questions, because part of the age-old question with anyone in church is, how could a loving God send souls of his creation to eternal damnation forever? Does that really sound like the same person? Like, logically, does that sound like the same person, or is that maybe something that maybe someone added, like, oh, well,
yeah, and
you know, like
that's
I'm
one of
not
the
trying
things
to
that
say
most non-Christians struggle with, but
hey, bro,
Christians
I'm a
struggle
Christian.
with
I
it
still
just
struggle
as
with it too,
much
bro.
as
Like,
and any Christian who likes to say that their faith is so strong that they never feel that doubt or that questioning feeling,
they're lying.
They're lying. Yeah.
They're lying, dude. I'm sorry.
You
Like,
can
no
be the
one,
most devout Christian in the world and have all the faith in God imaginable, but if you still don't wake up once in a blue moon and think, am I really believing in something true? It's only human. It's just like how we mentioned the Bible has to have logically certain flaws because it was written by man. It's just as reasonable to think that you're human, and no matter how devout of a Christian you are going to struggle with the idea of, you know, faith and belief and
the
all this.
lack of belief.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
I mean, like, that's something that's not talked
Everyone
about a lot
is going to
either.
go through that.
It's like, I mean, speaking personally, again, I've been a worship leader since 7th grade, bro. I don't even remember the last time I could sit there and be like, I had a month off from Sundays. I've never had more than maybe 2 Sundays to myself.
Yeah.
In 1 year. Like, which is wild. Like, people will probably hear that right now that actually care about what we're talking about and be like, what? Because, yeah, guess what, chat? I don't get Saturday nights. I don't get none of that. I don't get Fridays. I don't, like, you know, like, there are certain things that you have to give up of yourself to be there.
Yeah.
You know? And it is just it's crazy how much of yourself you can give up for something that maybe you question a lot, you know, or you don't believe as much. Because what I was going to get into is, like, no Sundays off. I still have trouble knowing if I am doing the right thing and if I'm believing the right things.
Yeah, I struggle a lot with trying to deal with whether or not all of this is true and all that stuff, but I don't personally attend church, and I don't even remember the last time I've been to church. So it speaks a ton to the fact that you also go through the same struggles, and you go to church, like you said, like almost every Sunday since 7th grade.
Yeah.
You know,
It's not a
it's not about how often you go to church or how into your faith you are. Everyone deals with this.
yeah. And anyone who acts any other way is it's kind of living like the people who murdered Jesus because he was saying some stuff they didn't agree with.
Mm.
You know, I mean, it is such a crazy thing to think about. It is really, I mean, you sit back and people always tell you, well, read your Bible, you get the answers, you know. But you read the Bible, yeah, you be getting your answers. I mean, the Sadducees, the Pharisees, and all that. I mean, that is modern day Christianity at its finest.
Mm.
Anyone who says anything remotely about like maybe we shouldn't hate people for just trying to love each other, maybe, and then you're a supporter of whatever, and we hate you. Get out.
Yeah.
Doesn't that sound a lot like the people who didn't like Jesus's message of love everybody, so they went and arrested him in the middle of the night and murdered him over it? I mean, it's really not that far off. And those are the same people who claim they read their Bible every day and somehow do not see themselves within that.
Yeah.
That is what's crazy. Now,
No,
and again,
it's baffling.
to give like you say a lot, like to give a third party point of view, I guess in the Christian side, because we've been speaking a lot for not the Christian side, if I'm being honest.
A Christian side, I
a
would
Christian
say.
side. I don't believe every Christian is a Bible thumping, you know, because we're not,
of course
you know.
not.
And I think there are a lot more Christians that are out there that are like us,
Yeah.
that are actually scared to like say that they have these questions too. You
Mhm.
know, like I think there are way more people than we would like to believe that also deals with not understanding what is going on in this world,
Yeah.
let alone trying to match it all up with the Bible. I mean, look at all the alien stuff happening just in the past year. And what does the church think about that? What is, you know, like legitimately, because this isn't a make-believe fictional, this is the government coming out and saying, yeah, guys, there's some weird things going on. Like how,
Yeah.
and those people for real
And
would
people
just
are
say
ignorant
it
to
just
yeah.
isn't, it just doesn't exist. You know, like that just is so odd to me that there are so many people like that. And it just, maybe it's because we are open-minded, so we never have this issue when we talk, you know? We're just always on the same page roughly on everything. But it's like, do you realize that there are churches that just don't believe in dinosaurs? And want to know why? Because they're not talked about in the Bible.
Which is funny because there are
I'm sorry.
totally
COVID wasn't talked in the Bible. It still existed and still exists.
Mm-hmm.
So how are you going to tell me because it's not written in the holy book that it doesn't exist?
It's a bit ignorant to think that everything has to be written in the Bible.
Right.
That's
what I mean.
That's not
yeah.
the point of the Bible. That's not.
Yeah. That is not the. Oh, well, it's not in there, so I guess
If
it's
the Bible
not real.
had all the answers, then people wouldn't have these questions. That's not what you're supposed to take away from the Bible. It's supposed to give you sort of a layout of how to, you know, better your life in Christianity and how to find a way to live in eternal life. That's sort of the end goal if you're thinking of it on video game terms.
Yeah.
But
like you're trying to get the victory.
Yeah.
And, you know, be able to replay all the levels. That's what you're trying to get, man.
It's crazy. We didn't mean for this to become such a religious topic today.
Yeah, you know, we really were going to talk about sports today. That was going to be the main topic, and then this stuff happened like 30 minutes before Joey got here.
This is absolutely breaking news, and so we needed to talk to you guys about it. Yeah. On that note, what do you what's the goal from here, man? What are we doing? What's Woodsman look like?
That really should have been probably like the main thing we talked about. But
we'll do just a little bit because obviously we don't know. Let's preface.
We
don't know.
This happened legitimately 30 minutes before Joey walked into the studio. This is like the most breaking news you're gonna get. This just
This
happened.
just happened.
There was no script, chat.
Yeah.
We are just off the dome. So,
Exactly.
As far as Woodsman, we have done very well at buying gear.
Yeah, this is
So
true.
I am not as scared or nervous to change location again.
Yeah.
I will say what will suck is you guys will probably get a couple weeks where I'm going to have to readjust audio because it will be in a different room.
Mm-hmm.
So if you guys are loyal listeners, please be patient.
Hopefully we'll be
get
able
back.
to get another episode out next week, but just to
We're
preface,
just being realistic. We don't
know if next week per se.
I don't even know, like, to give chat something to think about. I don't even know if I'm going to be here at the church next week.
Yeah. So
That's
this
how
is a
sudden
very
this is.
like unknown territory for us.
Yeah.
But this is not the end of the Woodsman.
Not at all.
We've
not
gone
at
through
all.
so many different location swaps, and we've been upgrading our gear, and we're still super loyal to you guys, chat.
Yeah, guys. I mean, if you guys want to know loyalty, imagine getting told all this information, this life-changing information, and the first thing you say to your friend is, would you rather me tell you now, or would you rather save it for content?
On the
Like,
podcast. Yeah. I'm so happy you didn't tell me during, because I would have been so caught off guard, and
probably would have thought I was joking.
Yeah. So, yeah, this is kind of where we're at, chat. We hope you will stay patient with us, especially in this next week or two, where we're gonna try and figure out the new plan and the new situation.
To be honest too, chat, we did hit a milestone last week. We did not post at all about the new episode up.
Yeah.
Called To the Wild.
Please go check it out.
Please
good episode.
Please check it out. It was a really fun episode, really good episode. But I don't know, man. We did hit 20 episodes. That was our 20th episode, which is pretty cool. So I would say we're a good TV season in.
Yeah, we're
20,
pretty far in.
20 episodes. So whether or not we decide later on, because again, we haven't talked about any of this. If we decide later down the line, we want to be like, hey, this is the end of a season. Come back in maybe 2 weeks or something.
For all we know, this could very well be pretty close to the potential end of season 1 of the Woodsman
This
podcast.
could be this. Sorry,
apologize
chat.
for the noise if you heard that.
We just heard a really loud motorcycle.
Yeah.
But yeah, we don't know. This could be a season finale. It's not a series ending, which is good.
No.
But we got a lot of stuff still cooking. I don't think we're slowing down anytime soon.
No.
I think things, will look a little different as far as how we're going to get things done and what we're going to do. But as far as we're concerned, episodes will still be out Fridays at 5 p.m. And we're just going to take it from there, chat. We're going to take it day by day and just see what happens.
And we hope you guys are patient and loving and stick along with us while we figure it all out.
This would have been a great time to have a Patreon done.
It would have.
So then we could say hey, I'm out of another job. So
maybe for
I'm running dangerously I'm running on dangerous territory of how much I'm doing.
Maybe this is
finances,
close,
so
if not the finale, but if close to the finale for season 1.
We might just take the time to work on Patreon.
Maybe season 2 will be the introduction of Patreon as well.
Yeah. No, we just I know we don't have a big fan base or anything. We're climbing in numbers, but that could very well just be us listening to our own episodes. We don't know. But for the few loyal people we really do have listening to us,
we appreciate you.
Thank you for sticking it out. We've had such a rough time getting this podcast started, just in general. Every podcast I've ever heard says the easiest thing to do is to start a podcast. The hardest thing is to keep it going.
Yeah.
But I will say the hardest thing was starting it because we had a lot of setbacks. We had a lot of things happen.
Not nearly as much equipment.
We got
a terrible recording space. Laptop was stolen. It's been a journey.
And, just having something like this happen, it freaking sucks. Yeah, we don't know what we're doing. But we're still going to keep continuing, this process and this journey. And, maybe eventually we could say, hey, we told you so, and maybe we can do this full time. It would be
Maybe.
It would be great. It would be a
That would be a
great
dream come
opportunity
true.
because we have a lot of other projects we're trying to do, and we don't have time. So
Yeah.
if we could start getting paid for anything we do that's just any creative project in general, I mean, it would just fuel so much more, and so we could just do so much. We could do so
Absolutely.
much creative content, and I'm really bummed out. I'm really bummed out at this chapter of my life closing, especially because of how sudden it is. But
It's also the opening to a new one.
yeah, I'm looking forward to a new chapter starting, possibly even a new book starting, bro. Like,
Mhm.
maybe this is the end of a book. Maybe it's not a chapter. Maybe this
Could
is
be.
just the start of a whole new story. And
Yeah.
it's crazy, man. It's crazy. It's a crazy time, and we'll figure it out.
We will
you
figure
know?
it out. We hope you guys stick around and stay tuned. We're not leaving. We're just figuring stuff out. Please remember, you can listen to us on all. Sorry, you can
A
listen to
little
us
buffer.
on all platforms. Anywhere you get your podcasts, we're there. So please rate us on Spotify, iTunes, all that stuff.
Yes, please leave ratings, because without ratings, people do not see our podcast. And without people not seeing our podcast, the more we're going to have to pay out of pocket to do promotion. And we really don't want to do that. So if you guys could please just shoot over maybe a 5-star review, even if you like us. You don't
I
even
do think right now
you don't even
on
have to comment.
Spotify, we are technically a 5-star rated podcast.
Yeah, because of my one rating.
Is that the only one?
Yep, that's the only
That's
one.
funny.
Yep. Don't worry, Chad. I check it daily, and it's still just my rating. So
So yeah, hopefully this episode wasn't too much of a bummer. We appreciate you guys listening so much and listening to all of our episodes. But
and all the future ones to come.
and all the future ones to come. But that's it for now. We appreciate you guys joining us and following along our journey. We've been your hosts, Joey Rucker.
Brent Murphy. Later, Gators. The Woodsman Podcast is actively reading and responding to anything and everything on Instagram and our email. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns about the show, you can email us at thewoodsmanpod@gmail.com. Make sure to keep up with all things Woodsman related on Instagram @woodsmanpod. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow the Woodsman Podcast with video exclusively on YouTube and Patreon. Make sure to follow our personal accounts at Strange Kids and piemasterj on all platforms.
The Woodsman Podcast is co-produced by Brent Murphy and Joey Rucker.
Engineered by Brent Murphy and edited by Joey Rucker.
Additional editing by Brent Murphy and blood, sweat, and tears by the both of us.
Any additional content by the Woodsman Podcast may not be used without our permission. Copyright the Woodsman Podcast.